Hello and welcome. We're going to start working on Stripe payments today. Here is my Stripe demo project dashboard, and right now I haven't done any payments yet. We can see that right here. Now here's what's going to change in the app. We're going to hook these add to cart buttons up to an actual cart. And we're going to be able to go to that cart, and we're going to design it, of course. And in the cart, we can get rid of something. Here's a remove from cart action right there. And we'll also have this nice checkout. This checkout works with Stripe. So I'm going to make new user, and the name doesn't matter much. The card does matter, and this is a demo card you can use that comes right from Stripe. There's a few more on their website as well. I'm going to hit pay, but I'll bring up the sidebar first so we can see the response coming from Stripe. So we'll make that payment. And here we are. We have the response coming from Stripe now with the status OK and a bunch of data inside of it. The charge ID, the amount, and everything else having to do with this. So let's take a look now in the payments project here and refresh it. And now we could see a purchase was made for $6.80 and everything did work. Okay, so that's what we'll be doing this week, and let's get started. We're going to want to get our app started right away, and we could do that by just typing yarn in the main folder and then cd into the front end and type yarn there as well. And today we're only going to be working in the front end, so if you just want to follow along from this lesson, you could do it without a .env file. Just cd into the front end and yarn, then yarn start. In order to hook up our add to cart functionality, we'll need to create a cart. So let's head into src. This is in the front end. src components, and we'll head right down to Redux. We're going to make a new action creator. So we'll make a new file inside of here. It'll be called cart actions.js. And let's get started on this. We'll have an import of set alert, so we could do that added to cart thing at the top from /alert actions. And we're also going to have to bring in a little bit of that dummy data. We're going to need to know if there's a sale and if they're opted into the sale and so on. So from and then up twice to dummy data. Yeah, there it is. And courses. Perfect. Now we'll make a export const add to cart. All right, it's going to take the cart and then the item that needs to be added to the cart. And even though this isn't async, we're still going to use dispatch right here. Then we could point to the body, and we'll have a const called new cart. And that is simply an array that spreads the cart and puts the item in the cart. Now we will dispatch, and this will be a type of update cart. And yes, we haven't made this yet. We'll put it in our types in a moment. And a payload of, well, it should be two things. The first thing it should be is the cart, and that will be the new cart. But we're also going to want a total. And I guess we could just name that new total. So let's make our total function above this. We'll make a const called cart total. That will take in the cart. And really it'll be taking in the new cart. We'll let total equal 0 to start off with. And then we'll do a for loop through the cart. So let I equal 0, I is less than cart.length, and then I plus plus. We're iterating I upward, and all we have to say is if cart at I dot sales. Oh, it's actually sale opt-in. I made this mistake when I was typing the lesson up. Sale opt-in. So they're opted into all the sales, so they want to be involved in the sale. So if that's the case, we'll have total plus equals cart at I dot price times the sale. And that's how that works if there's a sale and they're opted in. Now, else we'll have a total plus equal cart at I dot price. So if they're not opted in for the sale, even if there is a sale, they're not going to be multiplied towards the sale price. That works right for me. And then after all of this, we just have to return total. So down here, let's use our function. We'll have const new total, and that will equal cart total, and we'll put in the new cart. All right, perfect. So now we have a new cart and new total, and that is our payload for update cart on the add to cart action. The other thing I want to do here, and a good use of dispatch instead of return, and we're going to dispatch a set alert simply with add to cart. Perfect. So now we'll just have a little alert on top of the screen when something's added to the cart. It's probably smart for us to go ahead and give it a time. And if you were with me when we created this alert functionality, you would know that the second value passed in is the amount of milliseconds we want the alert to stay on the screen. So let's head in and make a reducer for the cart actions. So it'll be the cart reducer and the reducers folder, cart reducer.js. So we'll make a const initial state, and that'll be set equal to whatever our initial state should be, which is just a cart. That's an array. And we also need the total. So let's set a total, and that could start at 0. Now let's set this all up. Const cart reducer is equal to, and then we'll say state equals initial state, perfect, and the action coming in. And we could point to the body. This I do all the time. We want to take the const type and payload. We're destructuring this from the action. Now we can switch, and you know what? There's a switch statement right there. We'll switch over the type, and the first case is update underscore cart. And we do have to remember to make this type. So in update cart, we're not going to break. We're just going to, and we don't need to break here either. Let's actually do the default first. Default's always just return state. But in this right here, we will return an object, and inside that object will be ... state, spreading the state across. The cart will now equal payload dot cart, and the total will be the payload dot total. Now we'll do our exporting and importing. So let's first export default cart reducer. But we also need to import the update cart. So we'll import that here, import update cart from, and then we just need to find types, which is up1 types. And we need to do the same thing in our action creator. So cart actions, we'll import the same thing there, update cart types, and let's go to types so that it exists. So I'll grab you. Probably be quicker to type it. Okay. There we go. We have update cart in our types as well. We're going to need to bring our reducer into our root reducer, which I think we've only done twice. So let's walk through this one more time. So we'll import cart reducer from, and then just find it in reducers, cart reducer. Then we could just add it to the end, cart reducer. And we're inside of the root reducer and now hooked up to the app. Let's check that it is working, yarn run dev, and we can check it in the Redux dev tools that the cart reducer exists. And right up here in my dev tools, we will take a look. Yes, we do have a cart reducer, a cart, and a total. So we did that properly. It's ready to go. We're going to use our course slider to add things to our cart. So we need to hook up this button on the bottom that says add to cart. You can find the course slider in src components course slider. From here, we have use dispatch already, so that's very helpful. We do need use selector, so we could reach in and see the cart. And let's pull that cart out. I'll pull it out above the width here. So const cart is equal to use selector. And in there, we push the state, and then we point to state.cart reducer, and we could pull the cart out that way. We'll also need the action that we just created, so let's import that. It was called add to cart, and it is from, it should be up to into Redux actions, and then cart actions. Okay, so now we have our add to cart available. We'll make a function right here, a pretty simple one, const cart add. And it'll take in an item, and in the body, it will just dispatch add to cart, pass in the cart, and that's what we pulled off right there, and the item that gets pushed into it. Now let's head down to the add to cart button. That should be down here, yes, in the course list, in the input. And right now I have onClick make alert. I'm not even sure we did that together. I think I did that when I started setting up these lessons. So let's make another onClick. Okay, and it's going to equal, it'll take in nothing, and it will point to cart add, the function we just made, and it'll pass in the element, so the entire element there. So now, up in our function, we are getting, and let's get rid of make alert, I'm not using it. Up in our function, we are getting cart add here is taking the item and then dispatching add to cart with the cart and the item. Let's try it out and see if we have something working here. I will head down and let's just make sure our state is looking right. Yes, our cart is empty right now. Let's add this to the cart. It says added to cart. Let's take a look. We'll have our state. Yes, it looks like we have a cart and we have a total. And the sale price came through, so everything that we wrote worked perfectly. That's great. So let's get our cart page up. Right now, we don't have a component and we don't have a page for the cart. We'll start with making a component. So we'll make a folder. We'll call it cart. And inside there, we'll make a file that's cart.js. This will import React from React. Const cart, and fat arrow function the cart. Let's export a default. And now inside of it, we're going to return what we need here. So we'll have a div with a class name equal to cart. So this is basically our container for the cart. And inside of here is where we'll put the title for the cart and all of the cart items. So we'll make a div with a class name equal to cart title. And then we will break with this a little bit because we don't want to keep going. When we have the cart items, there's going to be a lot of work to do. So what I'd like to do here is just name it different. We'll just name it cart items like this, so we don't waste the underscores yet, and we have a different page probably that has the cart items in them. So we'll have a, let's say, cart here, and we'll just write items here. And next we need to do the cart total as well. At the bottom of the cart should be the total of all the items. So let's say cart-items underscore underscore total. And we could write total there. With that all done, let's get it on the page and get some navigation to it. So we need it in pages. I'm going to make a new file called shoppingcart.js. We will import React from React. And we'll import cart that we just made from and .. up to components into cart, and cart. Const shopping cart. And we'll do our fat arrow function, set it all up, export default. And inside here, let's just return the cart so we can get it on the screen. We'll bring this into our app, so down to app right here, and we're going to bring in import cart from, and just a /to components, cart and cart. Great, and we'll just bring this in now. We could put it right after products. We'll change it to cart, and we'll change this to cart, and now we have a path for cart. Let's hook it up to that cart icon we have on top here. We'll head back into the header now. So components, header, and that should be header right. There we are. Let's make ourselves a quick little routing function. We will import with router from, and then we just need to find it. It's react router DOM. Perfect. Now we have to wrap this with router, and we hand props to our header right. We can make our function to redirect, const go to cart, set that equal to a fat arrow function, and inside of there props.history.push, and then where we want to push to, which will be /cart. Now on our shopping cart outline here, let's just add an on click to it. So on click will equal, and then just an anonymous function that goes to go to cart and invokes it. All right, let's see if that's all working. We will hit the cart, and we're in the cart. Beautiful. This is exactly what we wanted. The cart, the items, and the total. And under that will be all of our Stripe elements so that we can make the payment. So the items are going to come from Redux as well as the total. So I'm going to let the cart kind of be the dumb component, and I will take everything else to a different file. So this, all of this is going to a different file, and cart is just going to be the wrapper that wraps everything up and sends it to shopping cart. The cart items total should be the simplest one to hook up to our reducer. So let's take this out of here, and we'll make its own file inside of cart. We'll call it cart total.js, of course. In cart total, import react from react, import use selector from react-redux. Then we'll have our const cart total, fat arrow function, export default, cart total. Okay, so we need to pull that total out of state. So const total is going to equal the use selector, and we have to find that state. Instead of use selector, we will type state, and we will point to state.cart reducer and pull the total out of there. So all we have to do is return a div with the class name equal to cart-items __ total. And here we can write total, $, and the total. Let's import this back into cart. So import cart total from, and it's in the same file there, well, in the same folder, and then we could just put it in right here, cart total. Let's see if that's a working part of our app now. We do have a total of 0, and let's just make sure it updates. We added a couple things to the cart. We'll go to the cart, and now we have a total of 680. Okay, perfect. That is set up. Let's set up the items too, and then it's all about styling, so we'll just take it from there. So one more file inside of cart. It'll be cart items.js. Inside of cart items.js, we will import React from React. We'll also import useSelector to get to that state like we just did. And that will come from react-redux. There it is. And then const cart, capital, cart items. And we can export it default, of course. Cart items. We need to access our state and take the cart from it. So we'll do our useSelector again, and inside of there we will type in state and point to state.cart reduce it. Now we have our cart available to us. Let's get it displayed. So what we'd want is, how about a const called item list? Those are all the items in the cart, and in there it'll be cart.map. It'll take an element, and then we will point to, open up some parentheses. I'm just going to make a few divs here. We'll have an outer div outside of everything that's not labeled at all. It's just a wrapper. Then we'll have a div with a class name equal to cart dash item. That'll be our cart item div. And just before we finish this, our first div should have a key. So we'll do a key equal to just element.id. That'll be the key. Okay, so we have the class name cart item. Inside of cart item, we're going to need the title, the author, the price, and then some other things like an X to remove things and everything, but I want to get the title, author, and price on the screen. So we'll make a div with class name equal to cart dash item, and this is going to wrap the text. So we'll underscore text. We'll have the title above the author in this part of the item list. So div with class name equal to cart dash item underscore text dash dash title. And we'll need one more of those with the author. So we'll just write here el.title, and then we'll just grab this again, paste it, write author, and here we'll write author. So that's set up. There's only one more thing. It's the price. It'll be outside of the text div, so that closes the text div. We'll make another div with a class name equal to cart dash item underscore price, and that will have the el.price. And this isn't handling the sale yet. We could handle that in just a moment. I want to make sure everything shows up on the screen. Oh, there's a mistake here. Anytime a map gets wrapped like this, it means that all the rest of it isn't included. So you want to put an extra parentheses before it and a parentheses after it, which will be right here. And that'll do it. So let's get that on the screen. So we will return. We'll have to do a div, and inside there, we'll just place the cart list for right now. Oh, I'm sorry, it's item list. I was wondering why that didn't light up there. Item list will be in there. Let's bring this into the main cart. So here we are in the cart. We want to import cart items from /cart items. Then we'll put that right here. We'll get rid of that. We have cart items. Let's see if that worked out for us. We can see there's nothing here right now, which is probably a good sign. There should be nothing in the cart. We'll add a couple things to the cart and go to it. Let's take a look at those items. Okay, yeah, we have the name, the author, and the price. The name, the author, and the price. Looks like we have just about what we want on the screen to start styling, besides maybe an X next to each of these so that we could remove them from the cart. But we'll get started on that in the next lesson. So follow me right over there and we could finish this all up. Great job today and keep coding.